Growing up in a world untouched by the great tragedies that shaped the generations before us, events like 9/11, it is hard to believe that there's an entire generation that has grown up before us. They are on social media and they have no recollection of 9/11 because they were not born at that time. And then there's the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and then the Great World Wars, number 1 and 2. I just came back from Normandy, a trip that my son took me on for my birthday, and it reminds me of the things that I'm sharing with you now. And because we have no recollection or no connection to these great tragedies, this generation often finds itself insulated from the stark realities that demand resilience and grit, something that is woefully missing in the current culture. In this bubble of relative peace and prosperity, it's easy to cultivate what some call luxury beliefs. These are convictions held without the weight of personal cost or the risk of genuine consequences. These beliefs can be flaunted as badges of progressive thinking without ever being tested in the crucible of real adversity. Many of us have a sense of God. All of us should have a sense of God if our consciences have not been hardened to that degree. We have an inherent awareness that eternity is written in our hearts, and because of that, it is compelling us. Every person, whether they are a Christian or not, whether they believe in God or not, there is a compelling to seek a purpose that's beyond the mundane life that we live. But because we are absent of unique talents, because we haven't explored or found our skill set that enables us to contribute meaningfully to society, we often latch on to the causes and agendas of others. We can't contribute in any meaningful way, and so we glom on to those who have ulterior motives sometimes. These causes are noble, but often they are not. They're driven by those ulterior motives. Climate change hysteria would be one of those. Vaccination debates, defunding the police, anti-marriage, antichldren rhetoric, and calls for free college tuition are all things driven by ulterior motives that people with no purpose in life glom onto. These beliefs are marketed as solutions to existential threats. Yet they often carry hidden short or long-term consequences. The allure of luxury beliefs lies in their apparent righteousness. Advocating for these causes from a safe distance incurs no personal risk. Our young adults enjoy the luxury of liberalism, advocating for radical changes without having to face the immediate repercussions of the very things that they're advocating. It is only when we step into roles that require real responsibility, like parenting, for example, that the inconsistencies between our professed beliefs and our actions become glaringly evident. Suddenly, the electronics we once advocated are now withheld from our children because we see the danger of social media and these devices. The open borders that we champion, now we give way as we erect fences around our homes. This incongruence between orthodoxy, what we profess, what we tell others, and orthopraxy, how we actually live, is often overlooked. Still, it reveals a deeper issue, a lack of courage, a lack of humility, a lack of integrity to admit when we were wrong. Rather than confessing our misguided beliefs, we even double down, even as our fortified homes betray our fears. This is the high cost of luxury beliefs. The reluctance to face the truth, because doing so would require a humbling admission of error, and we can never say that we were wrong. Consider the political figure just last year who, after being mugged and seeing her children endangered, she reversed her stance on defunding the police. Or Eric Adams, who shifted from advocating for sanctuary cities to demanding a halt on sending illegal aliens to his city once the consequences became too dire. These examples illustrate how luxury beliefs can crumble under the weight of reality, forcing a re-evaluation of what we once held dear. Luxury beliefs give us an air of righteousness and feed that fever we have for fame. But when the chickens come home to roost, when our cities are decimated and our children are harmed, reality bites hard. At this juncture, we face a choice: continue living in the delusion of these beliefs, or take a courageous stand by confessing our mistakes. This path of humility is arduous but necessary for true transformation. The Bible speaks to this need for humility and confession. In James 4:6 it says, quote, "God opposes the proud but shows favor to the humble." Admitting when we are wrong aligns us with God's heart, which calls us to live in truth and love. It is through this process of confession and repentance that we can move beyond luxury beliefs and embrace a life of genuine impact and integrity. Luxury beliefs are a byproduct of a sheltered existence, free from the immediate cost and risk that test our convictions. They offer a false sense of righteousness and air of superiority that can only be sustained until reality intervenes. When faced with the consequences of these beliefs, we must choose between doubling down on our errors or embracing the humility to admit our mistakes. True courage and integrity are found in the latter, as we align our lives with God's truth and seek to make a genuine difference in the world around us.